that is the actual thing that you need to learn, is that how to write answers. That is actually quite important. See, answer writing primarily involves two things. First, what should be the whole structure, content and presentation of our answer. It means the skill of answer writing that we are talking about, right? So what you have to do, that you have to understand the nitty-gritty of these three words, that is your structuring, presentation and content, right? So the actual writing skill that you must have, we will be talking about it, and also I will be showing you some of the copies and do a comparative study that which copy do you think the structure is better and which copy do you think the structure is not better. So presentation and content. So first thing first, let us talk about the first thing, that is your structure and presentation. Now what do you mean by structure? See, very simply speaking, a structure simply means that if there is a question and its question has suppose 4 requirement, right? 4 things needs to be defined, or 4 things the examiner wanted you to answer. So all those 4 requirements should be into different headings of your answer. Like for an example, that write a short note on international terrorism. So here, if you think about it, there are 4 broad areas where it should be covered, right? So theoretical foundation can be one heading, international conventions can be one heading, recent challenges can be the one heading, right? So what you can do, that even if the question is very simple and you can identify these 4 horizons or 4 perspective of that particular topic, right? If it is, the question is very direct and it is do not, you cannot see the requirement in the answer itself, so you will have to think of it. And those 4 can be written as a headings, and each paragraph in that heading could be written. So structuring simply means asking the examiner to simply look at the answer and identify that yes, I have written everything. I have written everything. That is very, very important to understand. When you are writing an answer, examiner is also in hurry to go home, right? So you need to make things easier for him, right? So once you make things easier for him, he will make life easier for you. Alright, very simply speaking, right? So if you are not making things easier for him, he is not going to make your life easier. Getting my point or not, right? तो आप उनके लिए जीवन आसान बनाइए, वो आपके लिए जीवन आसान बनाएंगे, ठीक है? So that one thing that you must remember. That is the meaning of the word structure. Second thing comes is basically called your presentation. Now what is the meaning of the word presentation? What actually I imply when I say, you should have a better presentation. Actually, in the case of presentation, remember that presentation simply means that it should be visually pleasing. No matter what people say. Have you seen any topper's copy who have a bad handwriting? People often say that you should have good knowledge, handwriting is irrelevant. That is absolutely wrong. Knowledge obviously is needed, but handwriting also needs to be better. Now suppose you don't have good handwriting. So in coming 2-3 months you cannot say that okay, I will improve my handwriting. That is simply impossible. So what you need to do, that you need to at least look visual, answer should look visually appealing. What you can do? So you can do 3 things actually. First is good handwriting. Obviously if you don't have, you cannot do anything. But what you can do, that you can adopt 2-3 things. First thing that you can adopt, that you can write short para. 2-3 lines, 5 lines, change the para. Even if the thought is same and you are not writing something else, after 3-4 lines just change the para. Make it shorter, make it much more readable, right? Second thing you can do is that you can leave lot of spaces, right? थोड़ा बड़ा लिखिए, थोड़ा बीच में give the gaps. What is the problem in giving the gaps? कोई दिक्कत नहीं gap देने में. In fact, once you give the gap, it actually is, it is much more better for the people to identify what you have written where, right? अब gap का मतलब इतना भी gap मत दीजिए कि pages कम हो जाए. Obviously, that is obviously not the case, but at least there should be some gap which will enable you, the examiner, to identify even in the bad handwriting that yes, he have written everything. Very small thing, right? Third thing, that you can use bullet points. छोटी छोटी चीजें bullet points में आप लिख सकते हैं, right? Like for an example, suppose you are writing यही ले लीजिए इंटरनेशनल टेररिज्म वाला ही एग्जाम्पल, वही अटक गया दिमाग में, चलिए वही ले लीजिए। तो मान लीजिए उसमें आप लिख रहे हैं कन्वेंशंस, इंटरनेशनल कन्वेंशंस, एक हेडिंग डाल रहा है, तो राइट डाउन समथिंग लाइक दिस, कन्वेंशन नेम, अंडरलाइन कर लीजिए, डैश कन्वेंशन के बारे में लिखिए, राइट। सो मेक इट विजुअली वेरी अपीलिंग टू सी। समझ में आ रही बात ये, ठीक है। तो बुलेट पॉइंट्स के कहने का मतलब नहीं कि हमेशा 1 2, कुछ यूनिक टाइप डायग्राम रहे, कुछ बच्चे ऐसे डायग्राम बना लेते हैं, ठीक है, बुलेट पॉइंट, दैट इज ऑल्सो गुड, राइट। इट मीन्स कि द पर्पस ऐसा नहीं कि आपको वहां चित्रकारी करनी है, द पर्पस इज दैट यू शुड बी एबल टू comprehend, the examiner should be able to comprehend that yes, this is a separate point, right, this is a separate point, getting my point, right। underlining उसमें एक बात हो सकती है, cases की खासकर underlining it is a very important thing to do, getting my point, right। so it need not to be always and every part of it need not to be underlined, but some cases is okay, you can underline. Similarly, if you have a question which requires you to compare, right, if they are asking 2-3 things simultaneously, like de facto, de jure, motive, intention and misrepresentation, whatever, then that needs to be written down in a proper table. It needs to be written down in proper table, right। so it means when we are talking about the presentation, it simply means that you are making it visually appealing. Remember this keyword, visual appealing, because that person will judge you on the basis of how nicely you write, right। so that word nice is very subjective, so I have sort of trifurcated it into content, presentation and structure, right। so and one thing also keep in mind that presentation and structure do not improve overnight, okay, it improves very very gradually. Like for example, I will tell you, if a person suppose gets 240 marks, his content and the person who is getting 280 mark, you will find more or less the content is similar. That half to 1 mark difference that comes in every question is because of presentation and structure, okay. so it seems like a small thing, and that is a small thing in terms of total marks. Like for example, if you have written something very nicely, very good content, the structure and presentation is not proper, it is not that you will get 0, you will get 5 in a 10 marker. But if someone has done this, he might get 6 or 6.5. So the difference is only 1 mark. But if you look at the whole 25 to 26 questions, the difference is 26 marks. Getting my point? And that is, I think, the primary reason that the law people sort of miss. Especially the law graduates from good college, they think that okay, I already know the law, I can write answers and get good marks. That is not the case. Rest assured that that is not the case. You might have very good content, but this presentation or structuring is not proper, you won't be getting good marks. Okay, so please keep that in mind, that it is not only about content, because if you are joining this test series, then I am very sure that you are very good in content. The only thing that I am here to improve is your structuring and presentation. That is why this one-to-one interaction I insist, so that I can actually help you, right? I can actually help you. That is why if you will see the topper's copy, there is not a lot of remark. I don't write a lot of remark. The reason being, I check it one-to-one, right? I speak more. So I have written this, rather than actually writing those things on the paper, right? Because I have seen last year I don't used to do that. I have seen people simply look at the copy and they don't even bother. उनकी भी गलती नहीं है, टाइम भी नहीं होता, right? 3 month का समय है, मेंस आने वाला, तो you cannot go and look at each and every content, right? It is simply impossible. समझ में आ रही बात ये? Understood everyone, right? So that is one thing you should keep in mind. Now let us come to the third thing, that is obviously the most important, if not equally, is the content. Now this content part is something which cannot be improved in test series. That one thing you should make yourself very clear, because I am here to check your copy based on your content. Now suppose if you are lagging in content, so what help that I can do is that I can tell you, okay, this content of this question is lagging, read the topic, right? Looking at the answer, I can sort of understand that okay, this part you are lagging with content, right? So I will simply instruct you to read the questions, that particular topic. And if you do not have any PDF or any material with regard to that, obviously I am going to help you with that. I am going to sort of tell you that which part you can do better and how you can do better. Understand that particular point? Okay. So that is one thing I want you to understand nicely. Now, based on these three, structuring, presentation and content, let me show you 3 copies actually of 3 people. I will not show you here, I am simply sharing it with the on the computer itself and the screen, you will see it. Now in that, if you look at this screen, what are the things that you see in this screen? So there are 3 copies and the question is same for all of them, that is explain the distinction between motive, intention and knowledge. Same question, 3 people have written it, all of them has qualified this year. Who do you think have the better structure? First one, Shubham, Kritika or Manav? Yes, tell me. Who do you think have a better structure? The thing that we have discussed just right now, in the meaning of a structuring and presentation, who do you think have the better structure? Yes, I would like to have your answer. Kritika, the middle one, right? Chaliye, so you have identified very nicely. The middle one has the better structure. That is why she got the highest. She got the highest. Right. Now, wo jo side wala Manav, he also got very good marks. But if you look at his copy, he have very good content. Look at it. अच्छा content है. Presentation भी काफी अच्छा है. लेकिन structuring कृतिका की बेहतर है ना? Basis लिखा है, motive, मतलब बिल्कुल एग्जामिनर को अगला पेज जानने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. फर्स्ट पेज में इटसेल्फ ही विल डिटरमाइन कि यस ये अच्छा आंसर. ठीक है, शुभम ने भी अच्छा लिखा है, नो डाउट, राइट. लेकिन इसने क्या छोड़ा हुआ है? बेसिस. क्लीन नहीं लिख रहा है. समझ में आ रही बात मैं क्या कह रहा हूं एवरीवन? राइट. तो मतलब मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूं कि नॉलेज ऑब्वियसली इंपॉर्टेंट है, लेकिन वो जो एग्जामिनर है वो आपको पर्सनली नहीं जानता है. So he will judge you on the basis of copy. He's not going to judge you on the basis of, some so-called, yes, you have a good name, or because they don't even know your name, right? They don't even know your name. So one thing that you must realize, that in whole answer writing approach, the only thing that is important is actually the presentation, structuring and content. Obviously I am assuming that you must be having. Right? And that is something, again I am repeating, that is something which you will have to gradually improve. First test में हो सकता है frustration हो कि यार क्या लिख रहा हूँ मैं, बिल्कुल ही गंदे नंबर. Right? ऐसा हो सकता है, that might be possible, very much that is possible. But that doesn't mean that you will simply say that okay I cannot write good answers. You can. Just what you need is the constant practice. Because university exam and UPSC are very, very different. There you have 3 hours, 5 to 6 questions, you have to sort of fill up pages. But that is not the case here. You have a very limited time. You don't have much time to think, right? And you have to finish the paper. You have to write almost 27 questions. Nowadays they are giving part also, right? In 50 marker also they are giving part A, part B. Getting my point? Understood? Yes. Now let us move to second part of the answer writing.